Good evening, everybody. It was just last week we did an analysis of the attempted assassination on Trump by the deep state, and we predicted that things would get crazier. This is not like the era of JFK, where it took weeks, months, years for all of the peculiar anomalies to come out. This is the era of high tech, where anomalies come out rapido. We have seen Patrick Bet-David do an analysis of the shots on his channel. Absolutely fascinating. Things don't add up. We have seen Kimberly say that the kid could get on the roof, but her SS guys couldn't get on the roof because the roof was sloped. What utter poppycock. We will get to how Kimberly is a fall person, a patsy in this deep state operation later on in the show. So tonight we are going to talk about Biden. Will he be disappeared? He has just made an appearance, and I will go over that first to set the record straight that he is not dead, unless you believe it is a body double. Then we're going to be looking at the ties of the shooter to an FBI building, his phone to an FBI building. Would you believe it? Surprise, surprise. And finally, the thing that I like about all of this is one of my favorite books is The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon, which completely opened my eyes. How many times were emperors taken out by the Praetorian Guard, aka the Secret Service? How many times were emperors assassinated by their friends, by their enemies, by conspiracies from both? Caesar, for example. 60 friends and enemies combined in the conspiracy to assassinate Caesar. So we are going to take a look at assassinations committed by the Praetorian Guard, which managed to grow to 16,000 people. How big is the Secret Service? It is around 4,000 people active, total 8,000 people. How big is the CIA? Over 20,000 people. When you combine the CIA with the Secret Service, you have got a formidable weapon of the deep state, which we are seeing making its move. And it's going to get even crazier when we see what happens next, because people like Hillary and Obama, they're just there in the middle, passing on evil deeds to underlings. And we know the invisible hand is at the top. These military industrial complex types, big oil, big pharma, the prison industrial complex, these people who not only can sleep at night when they're dropping bombs on the poorest countries in the world and killing hundreds of thousands of people, including women and children, not only can they sleep at night, they relish this stuff. It is a blood sacrifice. They feed off the power of innocent people. And Trump, oh my goodness, he dodged that bullet, and he is still going strong, stronger than ever, which makes him a bigger threat to the deep state now, and it is why Biden is getting disappeared. So, President Biden is soon going to return to the White House. NBC News has reported just recently, after spending days out of the public eye and in isolation at the Rehoboth, Delaware beach home, following a positive COVID diagnosis. A source familiar with the matter told NBC News that Biden is scheduled to depart and arrive at the White House Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday evening, he's going to hold a primetime address from the Oval Office on his decision to drop out of the 2024 presidential race. Quote, here's what he's tweeted to prove he's alive, because there's theories going around. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will address the nation from the Oval Office on what lies ahead and how I will finish the job for the American people. The address will be the first from Biden since he announced in a statement Sunday that he will not seek re-election for a second term. It will also be Biden's first public appearance in nearly a week. Can you imagine what they're going to have to inject in his butt cheeks to prop him up on that stage to make this appearance? The speech, scheduled for 7 p.m. Central Time Wednesday, will be streamed in the video player once it begins. It will air live on NBC5 and on the NBC Chicago streaming channel. July 17th, Biden announced he had tested positive for the virus and was receiving Paxlovid treatment. Since his diagnosis, he's been in isolation, fueling speculation that he was deceased. Did you watch Alex Jones on that? It was hilarious. I woke up to that today.
Yeah.
During a speech at the White House Monday, Vice President Kamala Harris said Biden was continuing to recover. Quote, "Our president, Joe Biden, wanted to be here today. He's feeling much better and recovering fast, and he looks forward to getting back on the road," Harris told a crowd at an event celebrating the NCAA champion athletes. Tuesday afternoon, Biden's doctor released a letter saying the president's symptoms have resolved. Over the course of his infection, he never manifested a fever, and his vital signs remained normal, to include pulse oximetry. His lungs remained clear. The letter went on to say that as of Tuesday, his rapid COVID test was negative, and he will continue to be monitored. The president continues to perform all of his presidential duties, the letter said. What an utter crock. His decision to bow out came after escalating pressure from Democratic allies to step aside following the June 27th debate, in which he just absolutely was out of his mind, trailed off, gave nonsensical answers, and failed to call out Trump in the manner Trump was calling out himself. In his first post-debate interview, he said he was convinced that he was the best person to take on Trump. How would you say delusions of grandeur? Adding that he could only be persuaded to step down if the Lord Almighty comes out and tells me that. Well, there is a force on this earth, a force of evil that rivals the force of the Lord Almighty. And we are talking about the deep state, the demonic energy that they feast off, and how these puppet politicians, this stuffed corpse called Biden, he served his usefulness to the invisible hand, and it's time for him to be struck down. Even with his resolute posture, injected with God knows what, that stuff that Hitler was on probably, what was it? The precursor to meth. As his resolute posture failed to quell the unrest in his party, Biden suggested he could be moved to withdraw in other ways. Biden is already the country's oldest president and had insisted repeatedly that he was up for the challenge of another campaign and another term. Preposterous. So this has made Biden, you've got to step down when they tell you to step down. These are crime families. Just like Caesar was taken down by friends and enemies. Just like Big Paul Castellano was taken down by his own guys, John Gotti and Sammy the Bull Gravano. Some of these people need to understand they have a sell-by date. Their usefulness is over. They are extinct overnight. Whatever devilish stuff they've been put in place by the invisible hand to achieve, once that is achieved and someone else can step up who can do even better for the invisible hand, it's time for that person to step up and piss on the public and tell them that it is rain. And it is Kamala's turn. Now, for many years, I've been trading the cannabis shares in the stock market, watching them go wildly up and down. They're going wildly up right now because Kamala, who was a staunch prosecutor, locking people up left, right, and center for weed charges, absolutely preposterous. When she sensed the winds were changing in the opposite direction, she's now a staunch proponent of reducing it from a Schedule 1 substance down to a Schedule 3 substance, I believe, which is making the Canadian weed shares jump quite fast right now. I think they're jumping fast because they realize the investors in the stock market, the stock market is like an indicator of what's going to happen in the future. And the investors realize that Biden is about to be disappeared and Kamala is going to be taking over. All right, so let's look more closely at Biden's health problems before we go over to the linking of the assassin's cell phone to an FBI building. And I've got Ryan Dawson on tomorrow. Oh, I'm getting asked about CrowdStrike. Yeah, I've been watching that, and I'm watching the shows, the stock market reaction to CrowdStrike. But we can get to that later on. Please throw that question back into the chat later on when I'll open it up for questions. Let's just try and get over these news stories. So Kamala Harris was refusing to answer questions about whether Joe Biden is fit for office, as Republican lawmakers demand the cabinet invoke the 25th Amendment. I think they're going to try and get rid of him before the election. The vice president has all but secured the Democratic nomination for president after Biden stripped out, but he's facing mounting questions of whether she covered up Biden's cognitive decline. Well, considering that his cognitive decline, and it's sad if someone is in cognitive decline, I'm not trying to take the piss out of those people, but it has been blatantly obvious to the world who are not in cognitive decline that Biden is in cognitive decline for a hell of a long time. So no one's covering up anything. This is all musical chairs. So he isolated at his Delaware beach home. And like I said earlier, he's going to be addressing the nation on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. So the White House announced on Tuesday the president's symptoms were resolved over the course of his infection. He never manifested a fever. Vital signs remain normal, blah, blah, blah. And Kamala Harris is fawning over Biden while calling Trump a predator and a cheater in her first campaign rally in the Wisconsin hours after shooting up as part of the Democratic nomination. So in the chat, who do you think is also going to get in there? Do you think it's going to end up Michelle Obama? Do you think it's going to end up Hillary Clinton or some puppet of Hillary Clinton? Because these are the orchestrators of the powerful, the invisible hand. The Clinton crime family is a main center, a hub for implementing their evil designs. Milwaukee stop occurred less than 12 hours. It was confirmed she had locked in enough Democratic delegates to secure the party's presidential nomination. She said, "We have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination. It is a great honor to have Joe Biden's endorsement in the presidential race." All right, let's go over to the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And we have got oversight. We're looking at the on Twitter. It's called Oversight PR.
All right. Do you want to send me links? You know, the private chat that's in here. You can send me links in here, and I'll pull them up. Sorry to break down the third wall here.
Yeah, I think the link was sent, but I'll resend it. It's just there was two links sent.
Yeah,
one was the maps and one was the mail article. But I'll resend them. I'll resend the maps now.
Yeah, no problem.
Here we go. Maps link.
Nice one. Appreciate that. Hope everyone's having a good time. Please like and share. Okay, don't make me come back and ask again. I swear, if you are not liking and sharing, and I've got to come back here again, I'm going to have problems.
Yeah. So at the top of @Oversight PR, it's a title: Assassination Info Drop.
Did you just email me instead of using the inside chat?
Oh yeah, I sent it by email.
That's fine. I swear to God, Sean, you love an email. Right, here we go.
All right. Assassination info drop. We found the assassin's connections through our in-depth analysis of mobile ad data to track movements of Crooks and his associates. To do this, we tracked devices that regularly visited both Crooks' home and place of work and followed them.
this the
Someone
one?
who rate.
This is the right one? Because you sent me the same thing twice. This is the thing I already had up on the screen. This is the right one, right?
Yep.
Troop shooter. Okay, that's fine. I beg your pardon. On you go.
We found the assassin's connections, blah, blah, blah. And then it goes over to show more. Right, let's see. Someone who regularly visited Crook's home and work also visited a building in Washington, D.C., located in Gallery Place. This is in the same vicinity of an FBI office on June 26, 2023. Whose device is this? Another device linked to Crook's visited Plymouth, MA. We found a device linked to Crook's work that traveled to Butler, PA on July 4th and July 8th. The device stopped all activity on July 12th. On August 30th, 2023, one device linked Crook's visited Alaney Arms. Here's all the relevant locations within Bethel Park, PA that are linked to both Crook's home and place of work. For those that are tracking this type of data, we identified devices that were located at Crook's home and his work within the past year. There were at least 9 devices linked to these ADIDs. We are willing to cooperate with legitimate investigations and share further information. For the protection of whistleblowers and our investigation, we will not be sharing further information with the Congressional Task Force due to the connective tissue between that entity and FBI, USSS, and other entities. So basically, they're saying they don't want to have anything to do with the 3-letter agencies because they probably suspect, like we do, that it's the 3-letter agencies that are behind the attempted assassination of Trump. So the Main Wire did an article on this. And going back to the first map, the mobile home data links to the home and work address of the assassin and a Pennsylvania gun shop where he bought ammunition.
Is this the one you mean?
Yep.
The one with the 2 circles, okay.
Yep. The track devices shows location data just a block away from the U.S. Secret Service headquarters building and in the immediate vicinity of an FBI office building, according to the Oversight Project data. So what was he doing at the FBI office building and not so far away from the Secret Service? Another device linked to Crooks shows that early March of this year, via a flight, traveled to Plymouth, Massachusetts, via a flight from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to Logan Airport in Boston. And another device was linked to the local nursing home where his 20-year-old Crooks worked as a dietary aide at the time of the shooting. Shows travel data from Bethel Park to Butler, Pennsylvania on July 4th and 8th. The location of the Trump rally where the assassination attempt would take place just a week later on July 13th. So he scoped out the location. He's been to an FBI building right by a Secret Service building. And then it was July 12th where the activity stopped. So the CIA employs 21,500 people. And Trump said he's going to weed out the baddies. The FBI employs 35,000 people. So 35,000 plus 21,000. We're at almost 60,000. And then with the Secret Service, we've got 8,300. So you've got these 3-letter agencies, 70, 80,000 people employed. Do you see how hard it is going to be for Trump to weed out those who have been embedded over decades by the Clinton, Bush, Obama crime families? Like I said earlier, the Praetorian Guard, if you go back, it's human nature for this to happen. When I was reading Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, and I saw how the leaders were just taking each other out constantly, how their security details were taking leaders out, how family members were killing their own family members in the quest for power, how part of this was foreign wars was a big factor. A part of it was the increase of bureaucracy and taxes on the public. How many parallels do we have with ancient Rome and what has happened in the past week? So many. And the thing is, this never changes because human nature is immutable. Caesar was a wise man. He knew he was in trouble and he prepared for a Parthian war. He thought that was going to get him out of the situation. But before he could start on it, about 60 men, former friends and old enemies, honorable patriots, and men with grievances, struck him down in the Senate on March 15th, 44 BC. How many enemies and friends, how many people in his own government are conspiring against Donald Trump as we speak? And now they have failed to whack him, and their game plan is in the open. What desperate measures are they going to employ next to try and take him out? Getting Biden out of the picture right away is going to be paramount, I believe, because he's just an absolute liability with his doddering speeches. It just makes it obvious to the world that he is not in power. Looking more closely again at the Praetorian Guard, then I'm fascinated by this stuff. Inside the Praetorian Guard, the fearsome military unit of ancient Rome. So just imagine this is the Secret Service. Equivalent, modern day, the Secret Service is the equivalent to this. It was in 193 CE, the Praetorian Guard did not like the emperor they were sworn to protect. Emperor Pertinax tried to issue strict reforms aimed at restoring discipline in the guard, but they were having none of it, so the elite bodyguards executed him. What happened when Trump was in power? They did not like it. The three-letter agencies did not like it when Trump was in power, so they came up with Russia. He's working for Russia. He's a Russian asset. Russia did it. Russia is interfering with the elections. They were having none of it. So the three-letter agencies tried to execute his reputation with this Russian nonsense. But now we know that it was nonsense. We saw through it. They couldn't destroy his reputation. They just enhanced it. So they tried to whack him, just like the Praetorian Guards executed Emperor Pertinax. After Pertinax, the Praetorians were in de facto control of the empire. They decided to auction off the imperial throne. Two powerful Romans competed to bribe their way into power. Senator Didius Julianus offered each Praetorian a massive sum of 25,000 sestertii, which was around 5 years' pay. The Praetorians agreed to the bribe and Didius became emperor, but when the money never arrived, big mistake, buddy, the Praetorians turned against the new ruler. An assassin snuck into Didius's house and beheaded him. He was the second emperor killed by the Praetorians in less than 70 days during what would become known as the Year of Five Emperors. When this stuff kicks off, it kicks off, folks, and it has just kicked off. The assassin failed. Something else is going to be coming down the road. Crooks failed. If it was even Crooks, if you've not, check out on Patrick Bet David's channel the analysis of the bullets. It just doesn't add up. And he's got a gun expert in there, ex-military guy who's performed at exhibitions and everything. Talking, they're listening to the guns, And this guy can analyze every single shot, the psyche of the person behind it, the breathing, the rate at which it's being fired, and it doesn't add up. All right, so there you go. They've whacked 2 emperors within 70 days. Once sworn to protect Rome's emperors, the Praetorian Guard became a brutal power broker in imperial politics. The 3-letter agencies are a power unto themselves. They are an instrument of the deep state, and they are a power unto themselves, comparable to how powerful the Praetorian Guard was in ancient Rome. These lessons are not to be lost. Multiple emperors paid the price for trusting the Praetorians. Why would Trump, after the Russian scandal nonsense came from the 3-letter agencies, trust the same Secret Service security guards from the very same agencies that tried to set him up with the Russian stuff in the first place? Multiple emperors paid the price for trusting the Praetorians. Donald Trump, wake up! You cannot trust these people. They will be coming for you again. Once almost bitten on the ear, twice shy, hopefully. So what was the origin and purpose of the Praetorian Guard? It's no secret why the emperors wanted elite bodyguards. Rome's first emperor, Caesar Augustus, rose to power and established the empire after the Roman Senate brutally murdered Julius Caesar, his uncle. Augustus created the Praetorian Guard to protect the imperial family. Well, who is the CIA headquarters named after? George H.W. Bush. How many people does the Bush crime family, in alliance with the Clinton crime family, in alliance with the Obama crime family, have embedded in the CIA and the FBI over the decades? We looked at it. There's 70 to 80,000 of them, and it is corrupt to the core. All these 3-letter agencies corrupt to the core. I don't know how Trump is going to get the baddies out when it is these people have been embedded for so long by these crime families. The bodyguards protected powerful Romans during the Republic's civil wars. They had loyal guards who shielded them from assassins and attacks. This force went back to the Roman Republic commanders. Augustus decided to make the institution permanent. So in 27 BCE, Rome's first emperor enlisted 4,500 men, broke them into 9 cohorts, and established them as the Praetorian Guard. The leaders of the Praetorians were known as prefects, were the only men who could bear arms in the emperor's presence. Prefects became important advisors to the emperor. Over time, the Praetorian Guard expanded, its numbers swelling to 16,000 men, and even including cavalry. But as the Guard established itself in Rome, its power grew to dangerous levels. Just like we were warned about the growth of the military-industrial complex, we are now worried about the growth of the 3-letter agencies. Praetorians had a mandate to seek out any threat to the emperor, but they couldn't seek out crooks. They let him get on a sloped roof within easy shooting range from Trump because they let security down. The Praetorians went undercover at protests to find enemies. Where were they finding this guy on the roof? Where were they when this guy was wandering around? And the Praetorians acted as a secret execution force in the emperor's name. But the Praetorians became a major threat to Rome's emperors. So the Guard becomes the main threat. The Secret Service becomes the main threat. It's not all the Secret Service. All it takes is a few at the top to be controlled by the invisible hand, orchestrated through the Clintons, somehow, probably, allegedly, possibly. Hashtag body count. and it's all over for you because the underlings don't know what's going on. Kimberly, did you see Kimberly getting grilled? She is a foul person. She sat there with a haughty look on her face while they were trying to rip her to shreds, and it doesn't matter. The whole fury of the nation can fall down upon Kimberly because she is there by design to take the fall. The invisible hand doesn't give a crap. Someone else will be brought in to replace her because she failed in this operation to take security down, to have Trump whacked. And the kid was probably told as well that he would live if he did this by his MK Ultra handlers, indoctrinate him into a world of mind control and big pharma advanced bioweaponry. The kid was probably told, misled to believe he would live and be some kind of hero by his handlers. But no, they learned from JFK. We do not let anyone survive to tell the tales. All evidence ends because dead men can tell no tales when the patsy is whacked on the spot. So under Augustus, the Praetorian Guard was a loyal, honorable body. I'm sure that's how George H.W. Bush felt because they were all his homeboys, good old homeboys. And when he wanted them to whack, to take out Barry Seal, it was all put into place. But the hitman was a cartel guy. It didn't take long for the Praetorians to turn against future emperors because if you're not staying on the same page as the previous emperors, you are a threat. And that is the threat that Trump presents. In 41 CE, the Praetorians brutally murdered Augustus's great-grandson, Caligula, after he allegedly humiliated them. Well, Caligula had it coming. He was a diabolical individual. Caligula had sneered at his enemies. Let them hate me, so long as they fear me. The Praetorians, not afraid of the emperor, simply stabbed him. Caligula's successor, Claudius, gave the Praetorians a cash bonus. That tradition of emperors gifting the Praetorians money continued through the years, with emperors eager to keep the Praetorians on their good side. There's no way Trump can get the three-letter agencies on his good side. He's going to have to completely overhaul them, wipe them out, shut them down, start his own three-letter agencies. The rot is too deep, and it's always going to present a threat to him. He needs to pick up a copy of Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. The Praetorian prefix grew increasingly powerful. Look at the head of the FBI. Look at the head of the CIA. How much power do they have to be exercised over Trump when the deep state gives its signal? One emperor named his successor a prefect, a move designed to demonstrate the guard's status and protect the imperial family. In 217, whoops, 1 second. Where's that one just gone? In 217. Yeah, so tomorrow, like I said, we've got Ryan Dawson coming on. I'm just finding my next page. Ryan Dawson is coming on at 1 p.m. to talk about all this stuff. And he's going to be talking. He spoke to Scott Ritter, and he's going to be talking for an hour or so about all of the insane developments in the last week, including the assassination attempt. He said he's cracked the case. So we will see. We will see. All right, where was I? I was on Caligula. Yeah, Caligula had sneered at them. They stabbed him to death. One emperor named his successor a prefect, a move designed to demonstrate the guard's status and protect the imperial family. In 217 CE, the prefect Macrinus heard a prophecy that he would become emperor. Fearful that Emperor Caracalla would execute him, Macrinus struck first. Praetorian assassins killed Caracalla on a military campaign. Macrinus fulfilled the prophecy and succeeded Caracalla as emperor. But a year later, the Praetorians killed him too, after he tried to institute fiscal reforms in the Roman military. The military industrial complex. JFK. Trump, we're going to stop the war in Ukraine. The military industrial complex is a huge part in this that cannot be overlooked, and I believe is a prime mover in the deep state. So the Praetorians became this powerful force in Roman politics. And during Rome's unstable periods, like the year of the 5 emperors in 193 CE, they decided who ruled and who died. Exactly the same. Right now, they are deciding who's going to rule and who's going to die. They had decided Trump was going to die and someone else was going to rule. But that plan got foiled. So now it's plan B. And if you've heard Alex Jones thinks there's going to be poisonings, there's going to be bombings, there's going to be all kinds of mayhem Trump's going to have to face now. I think they're going to shelve Biden, put Kamala in as soon as possible, bring Hillary Clinton in because she is the ultimate weapon, the personification of psychopathy. This is a battle. You want your top psychopath now on that chessboard. And there's no one as evil as Hillary Clinton. So Constantine disbanded the elite protective force. Looking back on Roman history, historian Guy de la Baudière declared Augustus created potentially the most dangerous institution the Roman world has ever seen. The US federal government created the most dangerous 3-letter agencies the world has ever seen. And I put the CIA at the top of that. Again and again, parallel after parallel. Several emperors saw the dangers of the guard. In 193, after the Praetorians assassinated 2 emperors in a matter of weeks, Septimius Severus tried to disband the guard. So if Trump tries to disband the Secret Service, if Trump tries to disband the CIA, if Trump tries to disband the FBI, what does history teach us? It is impossible to think of any penalty to impose that fits your crimes. The emperor fumed. You deserve to die 1,000 times. And didn't Kennedy say he was going to smash the CIA into 10,000 pieces? Same. The language is the same. Everything. Severus attempted to repopulate the guard with loyal legionnaires. But soon the Praetorians turned against the Severan dynasty. In 235, the Praetorian Maximinus, hand appointed by the guard, by the emperor, led a coup that assassinated Severus Alexander. And Maximinus ruled as emperor until the Praetorian guards killed him too. So JFK was going to smash the CIA into all these pieces. He gets whacked. In total, more than a dozen Roman emperors lost their lives by the swords of the Praetorian Guard. JFK, Robert Kennedy. How much have we done on Saran Saran? John Lennon, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. There's easily over a dozen that have been whacked big time. There's hundreds of thousands, millions that have been whacked by the military industrial complex, which loves to drop bombs on the poorest countries in the world as a blood sacrifice to these demonic people. In the early 4th century, Emperor Constantine fought his way to power in a vicious civil war against a rival supported by the Praetorians. And once he seized control of the empire, Constantine disbanded the guard in 312. However, the Praetorian prefects continued as advisors and administrators to the emperor. So basically, he got rid of them by keeping them on as advisors. He couldn't completely get rid of them, because they would have whacked him. This is the situation that Trump is in now. This is the difficulty he faces in. They've shown the hand. They want him dead. How's he going to handle these agencies? The Praetorian Guard lasted for a long time because many emperors, like Claudius, had no choice. Others found them helpful in consolidating authority, but mostly it was because the Praetorians were simply too powerful. Constantine managed to end the Guard only after defeating them on the battlefield. Without that decisive action, the Guard would have continued its long history of murdering the men they were sworn to protect. And it's not done as blatantly as it was done then. These days, it is done in a far more sophisticated way with technology, using lone gunmen, etc. MK Ultra style, brainwashing. Look at Saran. We have interviewed multiple people who have been incarcerated with Saran. We have interviewed Michael Thompson, former leader of the Aryan Brotherhood prison gang. We have interviewed Joey Torres, co-founder of the 18th Street Gang, one of the biggest gangs in the world. You can check it out on the wiki page. These guys spent a decade with Saran, and they told us that Saran didn't have a clue what happened that night. And because he didn't have a clue, he went to the parole board and he wouldn't show remorse. And they wanted him, you have to show remorse to be released. And he wouldn't show remorse, so they would not let him out because he was brainwashed MK Ultra style. How many of you guys saw our interview with O'Neill, who wrote the book Chaos? We interviewed him about 3 years ago. The book Chaos that gets deeper and deeper into who was pulling the strings on the Manson family. How much information was hidden? Who was behind the release of the LSD on the hippie culture? What kind of experiments were the CIA performing on the public that led to crimes such as the Manson murders? The complicity of the three-letter agencies just echoes throughout the decades in numerous evil pursuits. So I'm looking at the people in the chat. RFK Jr. says it wasn't Saran. Yes, Ziva. Saran was a patsy. Over and over and over again, they have patsies. Just like head of Secret Service, Kimberly is a patsy. She knows she's protected. She knows the thing didn't go down as it was planned, and she's going to get canned at some point, and she is in place. All of those people now who believe that the assassination attempt on Trump was negligent, and there are a lot of them still out there, and those people are venting now on Kimberly, and Kimberly will eventually lose her job and go on her merry way and probably get promoted into some kind of enterprise the Clintons are involved with, because all these people get promoted down the road. Kimberly is a fall person. She's just to take the brunt of the public's anger, the public that believe this is negligence, not the public that know what is really going on, not the public that have studied political assassinations throughout the decades. And, you know, I'm fascinated by this stuff. I've written a book called Clinton, Bush, and CIA Conspiracies. I've written a book called American Made, Who Killed Barry Seal, Pablo Escobar, George H.W. Bush. And I've also written Who Killed Epstein, Prince Andrew or Bill Clinton. So I've spent years researching how these things go down. Look at all the attempts on Castro. They have so many bizarre ways of taking people out. They have so many levels of fall guys. And then they have the people the fall guys are reporting to are fall guys. And then these MK Ultra people are getting manipulated by psychiatrists and doctors who are in covert ops. So there's no way to link it back to Kimberly. Kimberly would have just been told in a compartmentalized fashion to not have security on form that day. Keep that slanted roof that's really close to Trump. We gotta keep that one clear. Don't have anybody up there. We gotta keep that one clear. And if it does go wrong, and when it did go wrong, the order came in right away to wash away all of the evidence on that roof. They were hosing that slant. That slanted roof was so dangerous for the SS guys to go up there, but they didn't hesitate to get the hosepipe guys up there and wash away all the evidence right away. Right away. Yeah, she's resigned already. She's resigned. She's on her way. She's on her way to getting her next promotion with the Clintons. It was quite funny though, watching her get grilled by Congress was quite funny, but it was meaningless. It's all theater while the deep state come up with their next move. All right, so has anyone got any questions? I know I was getting asked about CrowdStrike earlier. So CrowdStrike, again, because I follow the stock market, that's something I've been on top of. That company was worth about 100 billion, and they've almost halved in value. But it's in the small print that if they F up, all you're entitled to is a refund of whatever you've got from CrowdStrike, whatever security you've got from CrowdStrike. They're happy to refund that for you. I'm sure there's going to be some huge lawsuits, but look at the multi-billions that have been lost. Friends of ours were stuck at airports, banks closed, airports still closed over the weekend, planes backed up, people not getting refunds, the amount of commerce lost. It just shows it was like everyone predicted that this would happen at the millennium. And it just shows that everything is so interconnected. This stuff can happen absolutely at any time. How vulnerable we are. Some people are saying, should we buy this CrowdStrike shares right now? Has it gone down enough? Well, there's a saying in the stock markets that's called catching falling daggers. And that's the situation with that right now. I would look at more like at the CrowdStrike competitors because they've been rising up because CrowdStrike's credibility is shot and the competitors are more likely to pick up the slack. Georgia, Clintons can now make her head of their security. No, the Clintons can now make Kimberly the coroner, like Fahmy Malik. If you look at the Boys on the Tracks case, the two kids that were privy, that witnessed the CIA drug drops in the forests of Arkansas, protected by Bill Clinton's state security. The tragic kids that lost their lives, Don Henry and Kevin Ives, who were snuffed out by the state security apparatus because they saw the drug drops that had been sanctioned by George H.W. Bush that were being run by Ollie North and Felix Rodriguez. So what did they do with the two kids? They dragged them to the train tracks, put tarp over them, and let the next train run over them. And Fahmy Malik, the coroner, said that they'd gone into a psychedelic trance because they'd smoked too much of the green stuff and lay side by side on the train tracks and fallen asleep, and the train had run over them. And that stands to this day. And poor Linda Ives tried to confront Bill Clinton at multiple speeches, and he fobbed her off, and she's never had justice to this day. And that's just one example. People would get shot, and Fahmy Malik would said they died from drowning. I'm gonna have to go over all of the Fahmy Malik coroner decisions that are so bizarre they will blow your minds. I'm gonna have to get them all in front of me and go over them on another live stream later this week because we're going to be keeping this coverage up because it's going to get crazier and crazier, folks. It's going to get crazier. And CrowdStrike confirmed Clinton's Russia collusion stories. They are deep players now. Yeah, Trump, not one to miss a major opportunity, said fight, fight, fight. That was that was a master stroke. A master stroke. Last week, I went over the attempted assassination on Ronald Reagan. I went over it in great detail. And when that happened, failure by the deep state again, George H.W. Bush was stepping up, vice president. When that happened, Reagan went up 20 percentage points in popularity in the polls. Trump is shot up in the polls. And the fight, fight, fight had a lot to do with it as well. Because how would he know that there wasn't other shooters present? How would he know that he wasn't in the middle of a JFK-style triangulation assassination attempt like the one described by Jim Mars? I learned a lot. Jim Mars was one of the first guys to open my eyes to the mechanics of political assassinations by the deep state. He's dead now, RIP Jim. But if you're interested in this stuff, check out his videos and check out his books. That happened the day after Trump said he would stop China imports to the USA. Yeah, it's all to do with the military-industrial complex. Anyone who purports to be stopping wars is doomed. All right, so what will happen now? So I predict they're going to have to get rid of Biden as fast as possible. Would that not immediately make Kamala the acting president until the election? That would make my Canadian cannabis shares jump quite dramatically. So it wouldn't be too bad. But I think Trump's going to get in. But in the meantime, a lot can happen in politics over the months. Are we going to go full on Alex Jones scenarios of getting poisonings, bombings, all that kinds of stuff? It is feasible. Is Trump going to learn the lessons from the Roman emperors and set up his own security apparatus to prevent himself from getting taken out? These guys had people tasting their food and drinking their drinks in the old days to determine whether they were getting poisoned or not. Is it going to have to get down to that, to be that basic for Donald Trump to secure that he's going to still be alive when it comes election time? What do you think about the video of Thomas Matthew Crooks when he says, I hate you Republicans, I hate Trump, but you got the wrong guy? I've not seen the video, but these assassins are MK Ultra brainwashed, big pharma experimental drug lab rats that will just say anything and create any kind of history that the handlers, the psychiatric evil doctor handlers want them to say. Whatever paper trail they want them to lead, they want the guy to say he's a Republican one day, he's a Democrat the next. They will do so. They will do so because they are completely malleable. They have war game the next scam like they did. The Coof Bill has warned us to be called. Let's see. Kimberly won't just walk away with info she's withholding. No way. Kimberly knows she'll end up hashtag body count if she drops a dime on anyone. Was Clinton wearing his famous blue dress as seen in the Epstein property? This is taking us. I've not had as much fun reporting on a case since the Epstein days, because the Epstein was a political assassination by the deep state. You don't get two guards falling asleep at the same time in that jail. It has not happened in the history of that jail since it was established in the 1970s. Cameras go out, and we're supposed to believe that he took himself out. No way, folks. These political assassinations really get me going. Yep, Jim Mars is absolutely brilliant. Indeed. So I'm on tomorrow at 1 p.m. with Ryan Dawson. But don't forget, Ron's got his daily news shows as well, where he's discussing everything from the royal family to conspiracies and aliens and stuff. Just scrolling through the chat, bear with me. Actually, don't know why they would do that. I know they like to see who they're voting for, but still. Keith, did anyone notice that the SS didn't shoot the sniper until after they saw Trump hit and fall down? I believe they thought they had the kill shot and took out the sniper to prevent any kind of intro. So, look at the videos. Look at the public warning for minutes on end that there's someone on the roof. We went over this last week, and I'm probably going to go with Ryan Dawson tomorrow. The sniper had the guy in his sights. Supposedly that sniper could have shot. He spent his whole life training to do that. He didn't take the shot. There was a stand down order. The shots were supposed to get off. Trump was supposed to be dead right now. And then the patsy would have got whacked. But things kind of fell apart when Trump moved his head. Is Ron in charge of the screen grabs going up? Yes. Local enforcement body cams were off at the rally. It's always the same thing, isn't it? Epsteinian. Parallels with the JFK. Yeah. He has the fight of his life prayers for Trump in America. Look at the midget SS jumping around trying to cover Trump. Yes. They knew what was going to happen and actually helped it happen. They knew what was going to happen and actually helped it happen seriously. So when you say they, you've got to think about who they are. And it's a small amount of compartmentalized people. So the underlings in the three-letter agencies would not be aware of the mission, but the prime movers would be aware of the mission. And the underlings would be nudged in the direction to allow enough error to get those shots in to get Trump whacked. The standing down would be done with just enough flexibility to get Trump whacked. And all these anomalies come out after the fact, as they did with JFK. Hundreds of people dead surrounding the JFK case in mysterious circumstances. Dozens dead surrounding the Clintons. People who have met the Clintons, worked for the Clintons. Dozens dead. And we went over that body count last week as well. So if you've got any more questions, put them in the chat now. Yep, the director lost a job, but that was all part of the plan. The director losing her job is supposed to give the public satisfaction to think that the person who was incompetent has been punished. End of story. That is part of the script. So that the public don't want to think about it anymore. Now we're going to bring someone in. It's going to be a new regime. You know, the negligence came down from the top. We've got this guy in here now. They're going to bring in some special forces, badass, buff guy to contrast Kimberly to satisfy the public. But it will be business as usual behind the scenes. True leaders don't step down or back out. True, yep. They don't. All right, so let me do a poll with you guys then. Put a 1 in the chat if you do think that Joe Biden is going to be disappeared before the election. Put a 2 in the chat if you think Joe Biden is going to still be around for the election. Nick B, was the crowd strike glitch a practice run for something bigger in November? Well, the thing is, Nick B, when these things happen, and the financial markets move in crazy directions from what's called a black swan event. Like 9/11 was a black swan event. Nearly all ones there. There are some twos. I see that. When there's a black swan event, if you've got inside information, you can make a hell of a lot of money, because one of the things that woke me up to what was going on in the world was when I was trading the stock market and the bets came in on the options trading saying that the airlines were going to go down. And those bets came in before 9/11. And there was a news report in America that I saw. I was living in America for almost 2 decades. I saw the news report. I think there's an old clip of it floating around YouTube. And the news reporter said the only way those trades could have come in is from the terrorists, and the trades are being traced, and these terrorists will be tracked down and brought to justice. And then that news story was killed and completely disappeared, and there were no follow-up stories about it. It just slipped through the net in the aftermath of 9/11. Now, how distinct were those trades, and what is an option? If a stock goes up 10%, an option might go up 100%. If a stock goes up 20%, an option might go up 500%. So with a very small amount of money, betting the airlines are going to go down, you could turn 100 grand into 5 million overnight, which is what happened with the options. Every day is a volume of trade reported, average trading volume. So the average trading volume on those options, it was petering along like this. And then the days before 9/11, it went up here and it stayed up here. So it was a multiple of its average daily volume, which traders all around the world notice. This stuff stands out like a red flag to anyone who's experienced in trading. When the average daily volume of something goes through the roof, somebody knows something. In a corporation, it's usually the insiders doing insider trading on their own shares. But in this case, years later, I was sat in a maximum security jail cell in Phoenix, Arizona in 2004 on my ecstasy importation case. And a book was given to me called Alice in Wonderland 9/11 by David Icke. And Icke, the researcher that he is, and this has been confirmed now by many other researchers on the 9/11 insider trading, those trades were traced back to a brokerage run by ex-CIA. So, in my opinion, what that told me, as someone who's been trading options since I was a teenager, as someone who had the branch manager license to trade options. So when I was a stockbroker, I had to sign off on every options trading ticket in my office. Options was something I was an expert in. In my opinion, as an expert in traded options, not only did they know that it was coming, they profited from it, and they left a footprint in the options market. And I've got all the details of all of the trades, and I think on another night I will go over that information in far more detail than I've just gone over it now on the top of my head. I remember that Russian television channel. They used to bring it up a lot. Max Kaiser, because he was trading back then. But they shut that station down now in the UK. We can't even get it. So in response to Nick's question, I've gone off on a tangent there, Nick. Was the CrowdStrike glitch a practice run for something bigger in November? I think that if it was intentional, it was intentionally done by insider traders, Soros, BlackRock, all, George Soros is known for overthrowing countries by fomenting protests and trading their currencies. This goes back to my trading experience as well. I'm ashamed to admit that when I was a kid, I used to go and read all of the books of the great traders, and one was a book written by George Soros, and I hero worshipped him. He was the guy who broke the Bank of England, selling short the British pound, and made an absolute fortune. Some of the highest incomes ever filed in the history of the world were from the likes of George Soros and Michael Milken back then. But what they do is they cause chaos, they cause black swan events, and they position themselves in the financial markets to profit from it. So when there is a glitch like CrowdStrike, you've got to look who had the most to gain, and then you will trace the motivation for why that happened and the likelihood of it happening again. If they can get away with it, it would happen again. So I think Dirty Woods is referring to Kimberly. Can they charge her with manslaughter or something? When they bring someone in to do their dirty work, that person is usually given a reassurance of a promotion when they take the fall for what they've done. And I think that Kimberly will hold her mud and she'll be promoted to bodyguard for the Clinton crime family, something like that. Yeah, she already quit. I saw that. Yeah. All right, let's see if we've got anything else. They easily had enough time to stop Trump going on stage. This is from Hype Beast 69. And should have got him off stage before the shooter started shooting. Yeah, but they wouldn't have achieved their objective, would they? So BlackRock, as far as I'm concerned, is up there with the military-industrial complex. Because if you look at the layers of this, if you look at the military-industrial complex, if you look at Big Pharma, if you look at the prison-industrial complex, if you look at Big Oil, who owns these companies? Yeah, there are diffuse holdings through all these complex financial structures, but the biggest holders are the banks and financial institutions. So you got BlackRock is one of the biggest holders in the world. And then you got the ancient banking families, these bloodline dynasties. Not going to say any names, but they are known for financing both sides in a war. And no matter which side wins, they profit. It doesn't matter what happens in many of these black swan scenarios, they're positioned to profit either way. It's just like George H.W. Bush, head of the CIA, was bringing the white powder in from the South, while at the same time fighting a war on drugs and trying to take out his chief competitor, Pablo Escobar. Confirmed by Pablo Escobar's son, who I interviewed. Check it out. It's on the channel if you want to see that one. Pablo Escobar's son has a deadpan expression throughout the whole interview, but the only time that expression cracked was when I asked him who was the biggest drug lord, his dad or George H.W. Bush. And he conferred. He bowed down to supervillain George H.W. Bush on that one. So these financial institutions, you've got the politicians, the puppets. You've got the various industrial complexes. Then you've got the banks, the financial institutions, the ancient bloodline families that are intermeshed into royalty, secret societies, cult stuff that goes on at that level. That's the way I see the pyramid. Then you've got competing structures around the world. You've got the Asian, the Chinese structure, the communist apparatus. So yeah, they're deep in it. They're set to profit from it, no matter what happens. Well, thanks, Lisa. Yes, please smash the like button and share. As many of you guys know, we're heavily shadow banned on this channel. Thanks to our Jeffrey coverage. Maria, Black Swan event. I thought it was about how to take power of the Black Sea and about oil transport. Again, like I said in the beginning, the military-industrial complex, big oil, big pharma, anyone who comes in who says they're going to rock the boat with any of these evil entities are going to be targeted. Just like earlier on in this discussion, we talked about how the Roman emperors were targeted. War is part of it. Taxes, financial stuff is another part of it. Debbie said they tried to pull a 12 million short the day before the attack. Yep. That's what they do. And if you follow that money through the holding companies, yeah, good luck with that. These guys are so sophisticated. Silverstein bought the towers with leverage money and took out very expensive terrorist insurance. If 9/11 happened, it would have been bankrupted within weeks. Exactly. I concur. There were vested interests. Shorts have unlimited risk, always suspect to me. Yeah, if you're selling short something, all right, shorting, let me explain it. If you think a company stock's going to go down, you can sell it before you buy it. I know that's counterintuitive and might not make sense. So let's say Ford is trading at 10 and you think it's going to go to 8 and you sell 1,000 shares short at 10 and it goes to 8, you make $2,000 selling it short. But in theory, Ford can keep going up to infinity. So your losses are unlimited, but your profit is limited to 0 because 0 is the maximum that Ford could fall to from 10. So if you sell short 1,000 at 10 and it goes to 0, you make $10,000. So if you're selling short, a company going bankrupt is your ideal scenario. With this CrowdStrike, if you sold it short before what just happened and it goes to 0, that is your ideal scenario. Yep, GameStop, stock symbol GME. I've followed that one over the years. And GME, it's on the rise again now. AMC is on the rise again now as well. Sorry, Michelle, for freaking you out with the trading stuff. But I am going to be back going over the 9/11 trading details in much more detail. Susan Reich, am I a target? Susan, let's go back 3 or 4 years when I was covering the Jeffrey case. I was a target when I was covering the Jeffrey case. I'm just glad that they didn't try something Trumpian, try to shoot me, put something under my car. I ended up losing my YouTube channel twice. And also I was pulled into the cop shop and criminalized. And I now have restrictions on my reporting of predators. Yes, I was criminalized for reporting on predators. And I've now got a restriction. And if I report on them in certain ways that I'm not complying with the restriction, I can go to prison. So yeah, my websites were taken down. There were campaigns to destroy my reputation. All it did was inspire me to keep going strong. And it's thanks to you people, you amazing people, you supporters that lobbied for YouTube to get my channel back. Have I written a book on the JFK assassination? Nope. I've written a book on the Epstein assassination, the Barry Seal assassination, and also I've written a book called Clinton, Bush, and CIA Conspiracies, which does include JFK, Castro, and stuff like that. I believe that's what they have done now, and the CrowdStrike outage was a cover-up. Yep. Whatever the mainstream media is telling us about CrowdStrike, just think about the positive, the opposite. Is there really any ex-CIA? My mum was in the testing department. All right, so I had an ex-girlfriend whose stepfather was ex-CIA, and he was a very guarded person with bars on the windows of his house. And these guys, yeah, you're never quite out of it because you're a liability. You know too much, and they can come and get you anytime and take you out. Do we really think Trump will be around for the election? What we're saying is Trump needs to learn the lessons from the ancient Roman emperors and the Praetorian Guard and step up his security and employ some of the old school ancient techniques to prevent further attempts on his life. So put a 1 in the chat if you think Trump will be around for the election. Put a 2 in the chat if you think Trump, they're going to try and take him out successfully. They will take him out successfully before the election. Or, there's many ways to skin the cat. They don't even have to lone gunman him, JFK him. He could be medically turned into a vegetable. They have all kinds of different ways. Did I talk about the shooter and what if he got in? All right, so John, I've got Ryan Dawson coming on tomorrow at 1:00, and he says he's cracked the case. So you guys, if you're awake, please come back for that one. We are gonna get down with Ryan. He really details things, and he's been thinking about this every day since it happened. Susan, the cleanup team has already been there. The fact that KH looks like the nominee should be taken out by Hooker Crook before or during the Democrat. Susan, I think Hillary Clinton wants to get in there. She wants to get back in. She wants it Clinton versus Trump or someone who is a puppet of the Clintons to get in there. Like they're not all puppets of the Clintons anyway. Oh, thanks, Ron. Yeah, we've got 2,500 watching on the live now across all platforms. 1,500 on YouTube. Thank you for the shares, the subs, and the support. We're coming up to 900k, but it'd be nice to get up to 1 million subs soon.
Put a 1 in the side chat if you want Sean to do this for an hour and a half every night. Just
I have no larynx left. Hi, Sean. Have you seen the forensic analysis of the audio by Denver University? It strongly suggests a minimum of 2 shooters. You know what, Andy? I was listening to that today on Patrick Bet David's channel on the drive home from the gym. And I was fascinated by it. When I heard it, I think it was on Candace's channel a few days ago, I went away and listened to the shots over and over again. And I'm no expert on it, but it just made me really suspicious. Do you stream on X? Yep, I'm on X right now. We have got 800 people watching on X right now. Facebook, we've got 5 and 3 because we are shadow banned. But since Elon took over X, we have been shooting up X. Just shows, doesn't it? What, because of the Jeffrey case, would COVID be a black swan example? Yep, Claudia. You know, we had guys on saying it was the biolab right from the beginning, and we were forced to take that information down. In fact, I was forced to remove all of my COVID videos. Yeah, we did go over a variety of opinions on COVID, but we did hit it with the biolab guy. No, I've not looked into the Piacer family. Can you imagine the lifestyle those people have? They literally live in a different dimension to the rest of us. It is a demonic sacrifice, human sacrifice, feasting on the energy and the blood of the innocent people, primarily women and kids. At the top, these are cultists. It goes beyond sleeping easy at night. It goes into, they make these sacrifices, the ancient bloodlines, to the gods that they worship, like the owl god. And they believe they're going to be given special powers, and their gods are going to favor them and going to help them rise up with global power and world dominance. Rumperostic is the head of BlackRock for treasurer. I think that Soros, I think the Soros family member married, is it a Clinton? I think a Clinton family member. It's like these old mafia families trying to marry into each other to keep the peace going. What would you suggest for purchasing a home in the USA right now? Wait or buy? Well, it was Lord Rothschild who said buy when the blood is running in the streets. When there's a housing crisis is the best time to buy. And that's what these elites do. They crash the economy. They buy the assets for pennies on the dollar. And then they boost the economy back up so that they can keep making their millions. Do you think Trump is a Freemason? I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Soros and the Clinton family. I'm gonna have to re-research that. I'm just I thought I read some about that in the last couple of days. All right, guys, we are at 1 hour 20 mins. I'm gonna call it a night, but check out Ron's stuff tomorrow on his daily news. Check out Ryan Dawson at 1 p.m. We've not had him on for a while, and he's absolute dynamite. Ron's got his royal mess on the Friday night. Friday night is royal mess.
Yeah, Friday night. Just before we go, I just want to quickly test something, if you will, if you guys, if you don't mind. Lisa, are you still in the Discord VC? Can you hear me, Lisa? If anybody is able to jump into Discord VC, just do so. You've got your mic off, Lisa, if you are. I just want to test whether or not you guys in this that are watching can hear the Discord. Here comes Mac. You there, Mac?
I'm in too, Ron.
All right. Can you guys hear that? And Sean, can you hear that?
Yeah. Does this mean we can have people join the conversation from Discord?
Well, here the idea is that over the next few weeks, we're going to open the Discord up publicly, and people can be active within Discord and get a certain amount of experience that'll basically say that they're trusted and active and be able to be part of phone-in sections of future content.
Yeah, let's do it. I like that.
So Nikki, you just joined us. Say hello. Lisa,
hey,
you say hello too.
Hello.
Where in the world are you, Nikki?
Me, I'm in Leicestershire, UK.
And what are you thinking about all of this Trump assassination attempt stuff?
Oh, I think it's hideous. Not very good at all.
Yeah.
But no Hillary.
No Hillary, yeah. So listen, I don't want to put everybody on the spot or make you guys think this is a section that's happening now, but know that over the next sort of couple of weeks, we're going to be opening up the Discord, getting people in, and a lot of discussions to be had. And I just want to say, Sean, this is what people want. Okay, there's a reason why this is the biggest thing that we've done on the channel in a week or so anyway. So just know this is what people want. People love you. And I think everyone can agree that this has been an amazing night. You speak so well, and I feel like I've gotten smarter from this live stream. At the end of my live stream today, I played never mind. Okay, but I'm just saying we're glad you're back, and thank you everyone for the support tonight.
I just needed the good old political assassination attempt.
We do love you, Sean.
Oh, thank you.
We enjoy all your content. We enjoy your content.
Much love and respect to you guys and everybody watching. I just needed a political assassination attempt to relight my fires, and we will be keeping this going. And like I said, we've got Ryan on it tomorrow at 1. So yeah, much love everyone, and we'll see some of you then. Cheerio. Oh, baby Ziggy, is he coming? Baby Ziggy gonna give a wave?
Oh, here we go with the Zigster.
I was just about to click end live and Ziggy popped into the room.
Yeah, like and share if you think Ziggy is adorable. Oh my God, look at the guy.
Ziggy. Look at him. What's going on there, Zig? Is that you on the screen? Is that you on the screen? And there's lots more baby Ziggy on the Attwood family channel.
Why does he look like a freaking 4-year-old? Like, what is going on? Where's time?
I know. He was next to a 2-year-old the other day. And I've got to be careful what I say. The 2-year-old, how do I put it politely? Just looked like a skinny little
tiny. Just like tiny.
His legs and his arms were 3 times the size of this 2-year-old. But he's tall as well. He rips tent poles out of the lawn with his bare hands.
Oh, this is too good. Make sure as well, if you guys don't know, Sean has the Attwood family channel. He needs to do more breakfast with the Attwoods. We need that back. It is like watching nature in the wild. This is the caged version of Sean. It's like watching the man himself in the wild. It's fascinating. So yeah. Again, thank you everyone for tonight. Yeah. Thank you everyone for the shares tonight.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.